This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by AARP.
Welcome back, everybody. Ballots go out soon for the November general and special election. That was Emily, by the way. And one levy that King County residents will be asked to vote on involves expanding services for veterans and seniors. Here to explain more about the levy and the issues behind it, welcome AARP's Advocacy Director, Cathy MacCaul, and from Eastside Friends of Seniors, Board Member Tina Butt. It's good to have you both here. Thank you so much. Cathy, let's start with you. Just kind of give us an overview of what's included in the levy.
So the levy this year is the Veteran Seniors and Human Services Levy, and this levy is going to provide services not only to our veterans but our seniors and help them with housing, employment, tools that they need to just be able to get by in life. We also know that there's a homeless problem here in the region. The human service community is in desperate need of the funding. This levy is a really important resource for the county and for our citizens here.
So what is new in this renewal?
So the renewal is really focused in on the three pillars, which are veterans, seniors, and human services. The seniors is the newest piece because of the cuts that were made during the Great Recession and also by our private philanthropy. There are definite gaps in funding when it comes to senior programs. And in fact, as we have the largest single population group in the county, the fastest growing is our seniors.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that. All right. Eastside Friends of Seniors is an organization that I've known something about for a while. But would you explain the mission?
Yes, we are about connections. We're connecting seniors who have needs with people who want to give to the community. And so we provide medical rides, home visits, friendly visits, housekeeping, yard work, just those little things that make people able to stay in their own home.
Which is so important. Their
Yes,
health
it
is
is.
better, their mental outlook is better, everything's more
Exactly.
stable when we can do that. So since Cathy mentioned that this is a growing population, are you seeing more demand?
Oh, we certainly are. And for a broader expanse, we serve Issaquah, Sammamish, but we get demands from Bellevue, Renton, Redmond. They say, we want that too. And we just don't have the staff to be able to provide those connections.
And that all has to do with funding.
It all has to do with funding.
Well, it's interesting that we all understand the cuts that happened in 2008 and 2009, but then as we've ramped back up, we haven't always reached the levels that we used to have. Plus, we've had all these natural disasters, so there, people are giving money to a lot of things, and things are tight. How do you kind of put these local causes on the same sort of plane and help to explain to people what will be missing if this funding doesn't come through?
It's hard to do because outreach is difficult, how we communicate. Lots of our information goes through the churches and through word of mouth. We are often going out, always going out, looking for volunteers because it's a wonderful way to serve, and it's very much, if you have a couple of hours, here's some rides you could choose from. So, but every time we go out to recruit volunteers, we get twice as many seniors who need.
So it's hard to keep up with the need. I had a good friend who was a volunteer for a very long time and who said he got way more out of it
exactly
than he gave. He really enjoyed it.
And sometimes even we have young mothers who want their children to have connections with older people. And so they do the rides.
Well, we'll make sure that we put up your website so people who can volunteer have a way to follow up with you.
May I also mention that our luncheon is October 13th?
Yes, you may. October 13th, and we'll put that on our website as well, because people may want to come, and it's very interesting to hear the speakers and find out more about it. Cathy, tell us about the cost of this levy, what we're looking at.
So the levy will be about $28 a year, so that's only $2.33 a month, and that basically generates throughout King County, and that will basically generate about $60 million a year in services and supports for veterans, seniors, and human services.
And that's for 1 year, right?
That's 1 year, so a total of $350 million over the 6 years.
Very good. All right, so let's talk about the two areas of support that are not covered in the recent AARP survey.
So it was interesting because we had a survey that came out from AARP, and it was interesting because what Friends of Eastside Seniors was talking about is the need for caregivers. And we know for a fact that there are about 55% of the population here in the county are caregivers, and they need support. They need the ability to have respite, they need to have time, they need training.
You mean 55% of older people are caregivers?
No, 55% of family members.
The entire population?
Yes.
Seriously?
Are providing caregiver supports and services. And they say if you're not a caregiver, or you're not receiving care, you will in the future.
Right,
so we need to build, and that's what's great about this levy, is it helps build that infrastructure to support caregivers. Additionally, we know for a fact that people want to stay at home. It's more cost effective for them to be at home than to be in a nursing care facility, either paid by the state or by themselves personally. So we know that this is also a cost savings, so that if we can keep people at home, that is also a cost savings because we don't have to pay for that assistance and that care in a facility.
That's a very good way of thinking about it. And if you don't get this levy through, if this doesn't happen, what happens to organizations such as yours?
Well, we continue to do volunteer recruiting. We continue to ask for funds, and we have grants, but you can only go so far on grants. There needs to be a stable, predictable funding base.
Yeah, we're all going to get there someday.
That's
and
right.
We're going to want care, so this is a great opportunity to kind of reach out, and I think in these days and times, having these sorts of connections between people is nothing but a positive.
That's great.
Thank you so much. For more information, you can visit aarp.org. I just want to call them ARP for some reason, /Seattle, or check our website and we'll link you right over with more info. Up next, some kid-friendly appliances you might want to consider for your house. Back after this.